Hey folks, here's what we're making today. This is called an ambigram. These are very popular in the 3D printing community. It is a shape where you have an arrangement of letters that, depending on which way you look at it, shows a completely different word. Here's what it looks like in 3D. So we have intersecting features. These are very, very common in the pop art community right now. There's a lot of artists that use these with images. You'll see these as installation pieces. And people like to 3D print these as desk pieces. They're pretty neat. So basically, depending on which plane you're viewing it from, you see something different. So we're going to make use of the text tool, and we're going to make use of the intersect operation. Starting a new project, always the first thing you want to do is save your work. I'm going to save this one as Ambigram. And this time around, we're actually going to sketch on a different plane. We always want the bottom of our piece to be the XY. So this time, to make sure that the bottom is the XY, we're actually going to sketch on this plane, which is the XZ plane right here. It's the blue and red one. And from the create menu, you're going to create text. Okay. And I'm just going to create my text out in space here. Cool thing about this is you have access to any font that is currently installed on your keyboard, or computer. So if you wanted to use something kind of fancy, you could. If you wanted to use something kind of silly, you could. Even like say Chiller or something. I don't recommend something like this because the letter face is so skinny. But it's say you were going to emboss some text on the surface of your work, you could use a very nice script, like a very, very fancy script. Or if you were going to engrave it in, you could use something really fancy and cut in some very nice script and it would work. For what we're doing, the script, the word literally is the body of what we're doing. So a big blocky text would actually be the best thing. And then, you can type any word you want and hit OK. You do want to grab it with your select tool and put it down on the origin of the plane. It doesn't have to be exactly on there, but it helps if it's near the origin. So I'm going to make it ride the x-axis, and this green one is actually currently the z-axis, but it's flat, so it's showing as x, y, because we're looking at a flat image right now. I'm going to finish my sketch, and we're actually going to click on it again and hit E to extrude. We're going to extrude 200 millimeters and make it three-dimensional, and then hit OK. So there's what it looks like from one side. And then we're going to make the other side. So we're going to create a new sketch. This time we're going to do it on the YZ plane. We're doing it on the side still, the YZ, the green blue one. And you're just going to make your other word. So I'm going to create text. You have to be a little bit careful this time because it needs to fall inside the first word. So if I need to make it a little smaller so that it fits, I'm going to hit OK. I can move my text. They're the same height, so it should fit, right? Should fit. But if you need to make changes, you can double click. You can make this a little smaller. You could even make the other one a different font, but it has to be inside the first body, so it has to sit, right? And I think I am going to use a different body. Let's use something a little bit more solid. Okay, so height 30, or a little bit less if you need to. You can make it a 29 or a 28 just to be sure that it fits. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Now I've got a word, and I've got a word on the side of my word. We're going to extrude that through. So I'm going to click my text object. I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to cut across. Now it's going to default to that red cut command, right? So we got a little computer lag here. Give it a second. I had to wait for my computer to stop lagging. So here's cut, right? But we don't want cut this time. We want them to intersect. So you're going to change the operation from cut to intersect. Let me see if I can get to where I can see that. My face is in the way. Intersect. Now what this does is it only leaves the body where both of these profiles exist. And everything else gets cut away. So it's trying. Okay, so once that's done, you hit OK. And it's going to calculate and finish this out for us. And you're going to have a lot of bodies that are unconnected. So the next thing we're going to do is kind of clean this up a little bit. So you can see I have lots and lots of bodies. We can get rid of the ones that we don't need. It works now, right? This isn't exactly an object that you could have yet because it's kind of a pile, but it already works. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these bodies in the back. We're going to do that with a sketch and an extrude. I'm going to create a new sketch on the good old XY, the red-green one, because that's where the bottom of our piece is. And if you need to inspect to make sure you're keeping the right side, you can still rotate and move around while you're in a sketch. So I'm going to keep these guys and cut these guys away. So I'm going to make a rectangle starting from about right here. From about right here. I'm going to go back to the top view so I can look at it. You can move those sides to make sure that we've got it. Looks like I need to move in a little bit here. And I'm just getting rid of everything that I don't want. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to grab that rectangle. And this time we're going to extrude, E key for extrude, as a cut. And if it doesn't get rid of everything because some of your stuff is below the plane, you can always switch it to two sides and you can cut up and down at the same time, just to make sure we get rid of all that. Okay, hit your OK. And there you go. That's looking a lot better. It would be nicer if it had a base. So we're also going to add a base. You're just going to click the bottommost side of your words. Right, so find the lowest point and click that, and we're going to create one last sketch. And this is where you can create your base. I'm going to use some 2-point rectangles just to keep it simple. And I'm just going to cover the bottom of these guys with some rectangles. That way we have some shapes that connect all this together. I'm going to finish my sketch. And then I'm going to click these guys. You may notice that you're not going to get everything in one click. You can hold the Shift key and click again until you've got everything that you need. And then if you extrude downward, we're going to do 10 millimeters just to give it a nice little base. We're going to make sure it's set to join because what we're trying to do is join all these bodies together into one thing, and hit OK. And then your project is done. You could always get fancy with this and add a little base to it to where you've got, like, say, a little tapered base, or, you know, you can even do this with images, but that's the idea. So enjoy.